Right. Hey, gang, what's going on? Coach Jason here. Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday. So, we're going on a marathon series right now. Today, we're going to talk about sub 3 hours. Okay, a huge milestone for a lot of folks. I've already done sub 5 hours, 4:30, 4 hours, and 3:30. Take a look at them. They're in the description below. And if you want middle distance training, whether it's half mile all the way up to the marathon training programs, and full access to me, go take a look at the videos. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I don't want you to miss it. Okay, and just hit all the notifications if you're going to subscribe. That way you know what's happening. Because right now I'm starting to infuse some stuff. Last night I talked about runner's knee, one of the more common injuries with runners, particularly people that are training for the marathon. Okay, after this we're going to talk about Achilles tendonitis. I'm going to talk about stress fractures. I'm going to talk about hamstring issues and some other issues as well. And I am a trained musculoskeletal flexibility therapist certified by the Whartons over 20 years now, Jim and Phil Wharton. And I'm a former competitive runner and a coach for the last 2 decades as well. So I'm speaking from a lot of experience, and I want to share this information with you, whether you're a coach or an athlete. So, and hopefully you do benefit from it. So at least you, one thing I can encourage you to do is subscribe to the channel. Me directly, blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com. You have my email for runners and coaches. If you want customized training, you've got memberships available on the channel too that we can take care of. And you have access to me every month too for live streams and Zoom meetings, where we can customize your training or the athletes that you're coaching training. So take a look at those. But today the focus is 6 workouts and strategies to help you achieve a sub 3 hour. Okay, this is a huge one. Okay, it's a big milestone. You can see here the long run is one of the key aspects. And we're at this point, we're building towards 18 to 22 miles. Now, some folks can do a little bit more. Some folks can't do as much. So it's where what you decide is most appropriate for yourself or as an athlete. And it's also based on tenure, your running experience, your ability to handle high volume, the type of surfaces that you're training on, and a lot of different things. Okay. But there are a couple of different types of long runs here. As you can see, flat, rolling, progression, and one with about 8 or 10 miles of it at marathon pace. And again, depending on one of the things I encourage you to do is take a look at the marathon course you're going to run, whether it's rolling, flat, or whatnot. If it's rolling, I encourage you to do a good amount of your long runs over rolling terrain. Get used to the fluctuation in pace. Get used to the undulating terrain so that your legs aren't as beat up as much. Okay, and if you have the ability to do rolling on a softer surface, you're even better off there. So flat helps you lock into pace a little bit easier, particularly if you're going to do a long run with 8 or 10 miles of it at marathon pace as well. You need to know what it feels like to run marathon pace at the beginning or the middle or the end of a long run. So all of them are important. And you have the progression long run too, which is basically a couple different things you can do, but it gets faster towards the run, as towards the end of the run. So it could be every 5 miles, you're getting a little bit faster, every 10 miles, however you want to break it down. But again, this is where coaching with the eyes is just as important as coaching stopwatch. So the long run has to be a staple part of your training for the marathon, even a half marathon. And I even include people 5K, 10K as well. They all come each other, but the long run is an absolutely critical part of this. Okay. Next up, okay, this is another way to get in marathon pace. Okay, this is a good mid-season workout. 8 miles at marathon pace. In this case, you're running 640 to 642 per mile. That's the goal. And I'm training for a 255 marathon, not a 259.30. Okay, I want to give you a margin of error so that if you happen to have a little bit of an off day, you can still get under 3 hours. So, and again, this is what you're building towards over time. So it's 640 to 642 per mile, or for those that prefer kilometers, 419 to 410 per kilometer. Okay, then you take a 6-minute active recovery. And then you do 10 times 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy. You progress from half marathon pace to 10K pace, which is 624 to 606 per mile. So teaching you how to accelerate when you're already fatigued, okay, towards the latter part of these workouts, which also helps accelerating towards the latter part of a marathon, which if you can figure out how to do that, that's a really good thing, okay? And it's also 358 to 348 per kilometer. So it's, again, you have a chunk of it at marathon pace, and then you back it up with a mini speed fartlek. And if you can only handle 4 reps, 5 reps, that's fine as well. But this is a good way of infusing one or the other. And the speed fartlek helps you with a lot of different things. It helps you with your running form, to be more efficient, particularly towards the latter part of these things. Keeping your body upright, your legs lifting, your arms pumping. Rather than fighting your own body's momentum, you're teaching yourself how to run effectively towards the latter parts of the marathon when you need it the most. So these are good things to combine with each other. Okay, what's up next is 4 times a 2 mile. This is a good staple of marathon training. And it's also 8 miles worth of volume, so it's a significant amount of volume. And again, this is what you're building towards. So personally, I don't expect you to do this day one. Like this is the stuff you're building towards. Sometimes folks can handle 2, and then they build towards 3, and then they build towards 4. But for a sub 3 hour marathon, this is a great workout. So you take a 3-minute active recovery. The goal of this workout is to run the first 2 reps at marathon pace, 640 to 642 per mile, or 409 to 410 per kilometer, and then ramp it up just a little bit, running the last 2 reps at half marathon pace, 624 to 626 per mile, or 358 to 4 minutes per kilometer. Again, another tough workout, but it's a very work. And again, not every workout for the marathon is going to be long. Okay, there's going to be a combination, or there should be a combination, in my opinion, in my experience, of shorter stuff, VO2 max stuff, progressions, and all this type of stuff. So this is another long run for those that can handle the longer stuff. This is 3 times a 5K. Okay, this one's a doozy, but I've used this on athletes, in athletes that are actually trying to run a sub 3 hours. And I have one person in particular who went from a 3:30 to a 2:55, and he ran a 2:55 at the Philadelphia Marathon. That's my best friend Mike. So we were college teammates together, and he used this particular workout, ran this workout at Van Cortlandt Park, one of the toughest courses. And he was initially going to run the New York City Marathon, but the hurricane happened, canceled that, and he added an extra 2-3 weeks of training, and ran the Philadelphia Marathon and wound up running 2:55. So this workout was one of the staples, but it was 3 times a 5K. You take a 4-minute recovery. The first one you do it at marathon pace, okay, 640 to 642 per mile. Again, 409 to 410 per kilometer. Then you do the second one halfway between marathon pace and half marathon pace. So 632 to 634 per mile, 404 to 405 per kilometer. And then the last one at half marathon pace, 624 to 626 per mile, 358 to 4 minutes per kilometer. Progressively faster for each rep. If you can design some of your training runs, your workouts to be progressively faster over time, it'll help teach you how to race that way as well. So it's a great workout. But again, it's for those that can handle it. There are mile repeats. There are other workouts as well. And this is a great component of marathon training too, which is speed fartlek. You see the lady run pretty fast there, right? So this is, I like to, you can do it in a lot of different ways. You can sandwich it in a shorter workout between a warm-up and a cool-down, or you can do an intermediate run, which to me is about 12 to 13 miles, almost 75% of your weekly long run. Doing this type of run like this every other week and teaches you how to be on your feet for an extended period of time. It's a great way of infusing it within this intermediate run. And you do this twice. The first time you do it early to mid-season, and the second time you do it mid to late season. There's a progression component here. So the first time you're doing 22 times 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy. So it's 44 minutes of total continuous fartlek running, but only 22 minutes are at hard. And again, you're doing it between half marathon and 10K pace, so 624 to 606 per mile. The second time you do it, you're doing 11 times 2 minutes hard. So it's the same duration of running, but they're twice as long. Okay? So 11 times 2 minute hard, 1 minute easy. So that's only 33 minutes of total running, fartlek running, but the same amount of hard running. Okay, just less recovery over it. So that's the progression. You can either do more volume, you can run it faster, or I like cutting the recovery, which is more applicable to me for marathon training, particularly when you're doing fast stuff. And again, it's at the same 10K to half marathon pace, 624 to 606 per mile. So a great complementary workout. They complement the long runs, they complement the 2 mile repeats, the 5K repeats, and they complement the speed fartleks too. So they all work in unison together. Okay, and the 6th final workout, okay, this is a 15-mile marathon simulation run. Again, this is for folks that I recommend. You can't find a half marathon to race within 5 to 6 weeks out. Sometimes it's hard. So you want to check your fitness and see how close you are to the goal. And the goal is to run a 15-mile marathon simulation run, building towards 15 at your goal marathon pace. So the goal is to run 15 at 640 to 642 per mile, or 409 to 410 per kilometer. You had 2 or 3 miles to the warm-up and 2 to 3 on the cool down. Now you're at 21 or so, 21 miles for the long run. Okay, and you've gotten the volume there for the day. But the idea is to run 15 miles at your goal marathon pace, about the 5th weekend out from the goal marathon. So, and then I generally have a 4-week kind of progression, tapered long run marathon, where it's more long run specific for the last 4 weeks leading into the marathon, where the marathon gets cut, but the marathon pace gets kind of tailed a little bit differently, so that you're used to running marathon pace towards the latter parts of your long run. For those that look at my marathon, have seen my marathon training programs, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, but it's either to me a half marathon race about 5 weeks out, or the 15-mile marathon simulation run about 5 weeks out. So that's what I have for you. These are the 6 workouts and strategies. And next video, we're going to talk about Achilles tendonitis, which is another annoying injury for runners. So please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't leave without doing that, because I don't want you to miss that. And I don't want you to miss all the other valuable content. We're going to go sub 230 next. We're going to go sub 220. And if anybody requests, we'll go sub 210 marathon workouts as well. So that's what I have coming for you. And then we're going to do lots of other things too. But have a great weekend, everybody. Train smart, train hard, be healthy. Talk to you next time.